Alright, g'day, hi and welcome. I know you can't really see me. Man, it is cold in here. It's like minus 15 right now. It's like the 14th of November and it's already like minus 15. Like, no. You won't be able to see me, but that's okay. Okay. It's so cold. This will be a test for my 1.0 CRV anyway. Test for my snow tires. Test for how it does in the cold. Yeah, like my windshield's all like spider webbed and everything. Cold. Okay, the meat and potatoes of this video. Well, we're going to a jam night again, which is always fun. And one thing great about the jam nights is that jam nights always got something cool to offer, right? So. Tonight, I will not be bringing any instruments tonight. Why? It's minus 15 out, boys and girls. Say, so it's minus 15. Well, let me tell you what happens in minus 15 to your beautiful, expensive guitars, or even cheap guitars. It doesn't really matter if they're expensive or cheap. The effects are kind of the same. What happens is, you buy this beautiful guitar. It has a perfect intonation on it. It's perfectly set up. And all of a sudden, you start gigging with it. And I've talked about this before many videos ago. And when you start gigging with it, you start to notice something. And that something is quite simple. The first thing you start to notice is that the guitar starts losing its intonation. You can't quite figure out why. I'll leave it at that. You can't quite figure out why because it's like your guitar starts to slightly go out of intonation. Oh. Okay, that explains it. I'm like, why is it so cold in here? Try not to. I really wish this dash would light up. I'm like, what's going on? I can't see. Why is my holy jeez, dude. That's not a salt truck already. Come on, you don't need to put salt there. There's nothing on the roads. I didn't even do my oil spray yet. Anyway, I had it on the cold air. Here I am thinking I'm going to defrost the windshield and everything. I got it on cold air. Nice. It's going to take a little while to warm up here. Okay, so anyway. So you start going around. You're jamming. Everything's going good. But your guitar's starting to slowly, over a few weeks, go out of tune. It's starting to do funky things. You can't quite figure it out. You readjust the intonation and it's in, but you don't quite know what's going on. A couple of weeks later, you notice it's still playing funky again. And it seems like you're starting to miss some notes. Stuff like that. You can't quite figure out what's going on. And then you do an assessment, you realize your neck's got a warp in it. And it's got a warp in it because, well, you guessed it, the hot coal going into a warm car and then coming out into like a freezing cold, putting in a cold car, yeah, it just kills the intonation, right? And that's what's going to happen. And when that happens, well, you guessed it, it messes up your neck, and if it warps bad enough, you're going to be writing off a guitar. There's nothing worse than a guitar with a warped neck. Yes, there are ways to fix a slight warp in the neck. Sometimes you can just truss rod the problem out. There's a difference between a bend and a warp. A guitar where the wood is just kind of contracted and it's bent, that's not so bad. That's not something to worry about. But when it gets to the point where, okay, here you go, here's your neck, and now it's got a twist in the neck. We'll say warp and twist. So a twist is, you get what's happening, that your fingerboard is no longer, the fretboard is no longer square. And when that happens, there's always a compromise of where do you adjust the intonation. So if you got a warp and a twist in it, and I've experienced both. Like, for example, my SG61 reissue has a bend in it, right? Like, it's basically, it's got a warp, like a gully, around, say, from about the 6th fret to about the 9th fret, which is right around where the truss rod normally works. But then when you get up past, like, the 10th, 11th, 12th fret, up to about the 15th, there's still a slight gully there. So the high spot on your string is not at the high spot on the string, okay, is not at the heel. It's actually somewhere near the middle of the fingerboard, and that can kind of throw you off a bit too, because what ends up happening is that you now have a situation where you can never get that perfect low action. So somewhere on the neck, it's not going to be perfectly intonated. It'll be close, but it won't be perfect. Now, a twist in the neck. My Hammer Diablo had a twist in the neck, and that was precisely from gigging in the wintertime. Summertime, it's bad, I mean, but the thing about the summertime is you go into a hot bar, but you're coming in from a warm outside anyway. You know, your room was just as hot as the bar is. Maybe not quite, but it's not as drastic. Like, you're not going from plus 15 or 20 or 25 to minus 40 or minus 15 or whatever. That's really hard on a guitar. And I noticed what happened, I told the story before, but I'll tell it again. What happened was my singer, he would take the guitars home, and it wasn't just my guitar that this was happening to. It was happening, it didn't really happen to the bass, but the basses, even if they warp a bit, they're not as sensitive as a guitar string that's got a thicker string. You can get away with a little bit more. I'm not saying they don't have to be as precise, of course they do, but it just, you don't notice it as much. And sure enough, my guitar and the other guitar player's guitar was starting to go out. We couldn't figure out what the hell was going on. And then one night we came home from a gig, and we were transferring vehicles or whatever at my singer's place. For some reason we had to stop there, and we stopped there. And he gets out of the car, and he goes right into the house. Oh, you taking the guitar? He says, no, I just leave them in the trunk. So I mean, he'd be like, you don't take them out overnight? No, I just leave them there until next week. You know, like, we grab them. And it was like, like, he didn't know. Like, it was all innocence. Like, he didn't know, which he should have known, considering he was a carpenter. He should have known. But he didn't do it on purpose. And that's what it was. He was leaving these guitars in the back of his pickup truck or his Camaro all week, and then when we go to pick them up, they would be completely, utterly shocked from the difference in temperature, right? And yeah, it was kind of crazy like that, and that's what kind of got us. And the thing is that just made it more noticeable quicker, but it did twist the neck on my Hammer Diablo, and I was never able to get it perfectly intonated. I mean, I got it pretty close, but it was never ever able to intonate properly after that. It just wasn't possible. And it wasn't possible no matter what you did. Like, you could take it to a Luther, but now you're talking about knocking all the frets off, having the fingerboard shaved down to even it out, and start over again. Now, before you say it, I know what you're going to say. Reg, you don't have to go that far, because you could just use, like, very gently apply heat to the wood, and when you do, it'll take the warp out. Yes, to a degree, if it's not too bad. But there is that point of no return where that, even the best Luther in the world won't be able to do anything about it. And when you hand it to like a really good luthier, and they look at it and they go, whoa. You know, they put it down, they step away from it like it's got the plague. You know, it's like, man, you just opened the seventh seal on that one. It's like, oh no. Yeah, that's gonna tell you something, right? So it was just too far gone. I eventually sold that guitar, and I do miss that Hammer Diablo. The same way I missed my Ibanez RG750. But the thing about it, the SG61 ratio, the RG750, the Hammer Diablo, those guitars had really, really thin necks. But for some reason, it never affected my Ibanez. But then again, maybe I didn't own it long enough. I only had it for a couple of years. But the thing is that within that time, it basically you know, within that time, it basically you know, never really saw any harsh winter. But it's not like I didn't get with it. Like I did with it. It just I didn't see the harshness that these other guitars see. The Hammer Diablo, man, there might have been 200 shows on that guitar. I kid you not. Like I'm not lying about that. I don't know how many shows I've played live now. That said, right now, as of current, I haven't missed a show since October. I've played live once a week, although not a full show, just a jam night. Once a week ever since August 16th, and we're now the 14th of November. So, I mean, how many shows is that? That's, you know, 12, 15 shows, whatever it is, right? So, yeah, it's one of those things where, you know, it's a lot of wear and tear. Now, each week I've been bringing out something different. Last week I was able, it wasn't too cold out, so I brought out the SG3, which I figured out what happened to my SG3 last week. Was, last week, the bass was out of tune from the guitars, and both guitars were out of tune from each other, so nobody was in tune. We had a case of stage gremlins last week. Cables shorting out, my amp was buzzing like crazy. Well, if it was even my amp, I don't know what the hell was going on there. I know it buzzes, it's old or whatever, but this was like way out there. I mean, this was like power station transformer about to explode kind of ordeal, right? And the thing is that oh, nice and warm on the hands. It takes about 15-20 minutes of drive before you really get the big heat, right? And that's but we got a long way to go, so I gotta keep my fingers warm. But anyway, yeah, it's like the guitars were out, and when I was looking at my tuner today, I'm like, how was my tuner? You know, my guitar was exactly 1/2 step out of tune to the flat side, right? Where I know that little pitch pipe I have goes a little bit sharp, but it's usually close enough so that you're at 441, 442, so enough to say you're in, you know. But this was way out. Now the other guys, I don't know what their story was. Maybe one of us was in 440 at one point, natural pitch, but it turned out that no, I wasn't in 440 at all. I was actually in A430. So what was happening, like when I was using my tuner, it was saying I was going up to 440. Then I noticed it. This is an older tuner, but it was quite advanced for its time. And one of the little features this tuner has is that, well, you can go A440 sharp or A440 flat. Now you're saying, Reg, there's no such thing as A440 sharp or flat. There's A440 or there's not. Yes, 440 hertz is 440 hertz. Correct. However, when you use a tuner, and it doesn't really matter what tuner it is, there are some exceptions. There's usually two little lights and an arrow in the center. The arrow goes like on a pendulum, kind of, and when the arrow goes top dead center, means your guitar's in perfect pitch. When it's in perfect pitch, there's a light on the left of my tuner and the light on the right of my tuner, and both light up at the same time. Now, should you be one of those people And a lot of times, singers, especially metal bands, they'll tend to go about a half step low. A lot of tuners, okay, have this concept built in, saying, okay, well, there's some people, they just can't hit outrageously high notes, so what they do is they tune a half step low. Now, on a jam night, you just go with 8/440 and that's it. But a lot of people, especially the heavier bands, they want the guitars to sound a little chunkier. The vocal wants a slightly easier job on their voice so they can sing a little bit lower key. They'll bring it, they'll tune flat. But if you try to tune flat and find 8/430 while you're on stage, it's really hard to do because you can't see the needle properly and like that. So what you do is you're tuning to 8/440, but the tuner compensates for a half step low. So you're really in 8/430, but it's registering that you're in 8/440, which you have the little icons for sharp or flat, so you can actually tune a half step high as well, right? Now on my tuner, which I don't use that much, and be honest with you, I'm not saying I didn't use it since I was last on stage back in the 90s, but I don't use it that much. But when I was using it back then, yeah, I always kept the tuner set half step flat, okay? So you can figure out what happened last week after telling you all that. That when I got home and I tuned up tonight, my guitar, and I went against the pitch pipe, I was like, this thing is way out. So I'm looking at it, and I used the pitch pipe against the tuner, and sure enough, the tuner was, the pitch pipe was like way high, like a full step higher. I'm like, that can't, I know there's quality control and stuff like that, but I'm like, it's not going to be that far out. And then I noticed that the tuner was 8/440 flat. In other words, it was tuned to 8/430. And I was just like, Durr. Oh, meteor shooting, world peace. I just saw a meteor, guys. That was cool. Or a shooting star, probably a meteor. Whenever you see a shooting star or a meteor, don't do anything selfish. Just say world peace. Why? Because if you do that, maybe something better will come to you. You know what I mean? Forfeit the wish. Just do that. Forfeit your star, wish on the star. But anyway, yeah. So that said, yeah, that's why the Gremlins showed up on the stage last week. Was very clearly there was a discrepancy with my tuner. So my tuner works fine, which is the good news. The bad news is that I had it set the wrong thing. But I corrected it tonight, so now it's like, okay, the pitch pipe and the tuner are now dead on. I prefer pitch pipes. Why? They're easy to use. I can hear it. But I prefer that in a room. When you're on stage, tuning is a real pain in the ass on stage because there's always so many background noises that it seems like when your guitar's in tune, you have no problem. Okay, it's in tune, but when it's getting it into tune, when there's slightly background noise, it just seems like it's almost an impossibility. And you always feel rushed, and you always feel like you're annoying the audience, which you are. That's why, like, a lot of tuners have a bypass on them, so that when you hit the tuner, the audience doesn't hear it. But then you have to get a good tuner, because if you don't, the tune, like when you take the bypass off, you know, the tuner's like everything's close, but it's not quite in. And I don't like that. I want it dead on, string to string. So if you're going to get a tuner, buy a good one. They are not expensive to buy, but you can get these other tuners that are silent, that clip onto the tip of your guitar. And there can be a million sounds going on, and it'll only register your guitar. It's really, they got like a little condenser mic in them that picks up, and they work quite well. They're accurate enough. They're like $25. You know what I mean? But if you want to get like the tuner of tuners, get the Boss tuner. I mean, that thing has everything. It's got a bypass. You can do. Let's say you want to tune into open tunings, right? You can preset different, like drop E, open D, gad tuning, whatever it might be. That's what an expensive tuner will get you. But if you never use those tunings, maybe you don't want to spend that much. Another thing you can do is you buy a tuner. Everybody in the band buys a tuner. So the bass player buys a tuner, you buy a tuner. But whatever you tune to, make sure everybody tunes off the same tuner. That way, if it's out by like a plus or minus 0.5%, the good news is that everybody's out plus or minus 0.5%. That means you'll all be in. But if each tuner's slightly out from each other, it slows down the process, right? I never have that problem when I have the whole night to myself. The only time I have that problem is, like on jam nights where, again, you got to be ready to go. This is where an advantage of using the house guitar is a lot better. Sometimes because, that guitar's already been tuned up for you. It's already been warmed up for you. Whatever. As long as the guy ahead of you hasn't been bashing on it too hard, not a big deal. Holy delivery truck. This guy's like flying. It's not like there's like black ice or anything out there, dumbass. Everybody's always in such a rush all the time. I really don't understand. Yeah. No rush, no worry. Get in your head. Get it in your head. Just saying. So I know I'm spending a lot of time talking about tuners here, but they are important aspects of your gig. Very important. Now tonight, Greg's not there again tonight. We have, I forget who the host is, but looks like Claire Besslin will be the sound woman again tonight. And she did a good job last time. Last time she was there, she really rocked the place. I finally got her on video. You'll be seeing this video way after me in December, by the time you see this video. I got so many videos coming out on my professional Canadian Beaver Walker channel, which is great. I try to get a video out a day. I don't know if she'll play tonight. Last time when she was doing the work at the soundboard, she didn't bother going up and playing, which, she's really good. The band that she has now is that drummer Andre, the guy that was on the drums there about 2 weeks ago for me when I did the Johnny Be Good and stuff like that. Him, and then that bass player Matthew. He was up there last week when we did Viva la Española. That was crazy. Went from Pink Floyd to some sort of El Toro thing, and then he was kind of singing some funny dramatic stuff on the stage because we're just doing like E flat and A minor. So in other words, the only chord we were missing for El Toro was a good old-fashioned F chord. You know what I mean? We would have got that F and F chord in there. We could have had a real good, we could have done the Malagueña. But it was cool for debuting for my SG. The songs that I was going to play last week with my SG, I'll be playing tonight. 3 ballads, but I'm going to try to have fun with it tonight. Not that I like doing ballads, but these ballads are kind of a real good center of the road. They're hyper enough, good sing-alongs, and, well, one of them I can't really call a ballad. I got Drops of Jupiter from Train. I'm going to try that. Well, that's my plan now. I mean, if the night goes really haywire crazy, well, I'm going to do something more hyper, but I got that one. I've been wanting to roll that one out for a while. I played it years ago, and it always did well. I got Jesse's Girl, Rick Springfield. That one always does well, usually. That one's right up there with Wanted Dead or Alive, kind of like for crowd singing along. And then the last one is usually, I've never seen anybody not do it well. Even when they sucked at it, they still had a good response, and that's Last Kiss. I'll do more of these, similar to the Pearl Jam version of it than the original. I can't remember who originally wrote Last Kiss. It's a 50s tune. The only other song that kind of rivals it, and you tell me which song has more, but both are about one's about a guy losing his girl in a car accident. The other one's about the guy dying in the car accident, leaving his girl behind. So which one is more tragic? Tell Laura I Love Her, Richie Valens, not not Richie Valens, but Richie Valent, or the Last Kiss song, which that one I'm going to have a little bit of fun with. But what I'm going to do tonight is do like the theme of love. And I'm gonna be. Well, I'll see what the crowd's like. But I want to, like, again, when you go on stage, you're a musician second, you're a performer first. So if you go up there and you interact with the audience and just make it really fun. Tonight I think should be really fun. Depends. If it's really, really quiet like last week, well then okay, I'll just go up and play my songs and that'll be it. Or I'll just say, screw it, who wants to come up and jam? You know what I mean? Last week, I don't think last week we could have pulled off what we pulled off. Like we could have pulled that off on a more busy night. And I'll tell you why. Last week we spent at least 10 minutes tuning on stage with all the gremlins and stuff and all the buzzing and everything. It was way too slow. But mind you, we didn't have the normal sound man. Everybody was out of tune from each other, and nobody really knew what we were doing. So it was what it was jam, which when I listened to it, it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. It actually came out pretty good. Like, it wasn't great, but it was okay. Well, that's not horrible, like that's interesting. It's definitely a jam night jam. It qualifies. It fell apart. Well, it started off. I don't think it fell apart. I think it just started off really loose, and then it came together. By the time it came together, we were into something new. Didn't quite know where it began. Didn't quite know where to end it. You know what I mean? It was one of those. And then, of course, last week I tragically killed that poor little bunny hopper running across the road. So there'll be none of that tonight. Yeah, that poor little guy. Yeah, he spunked him both wheels too. I tried to miss him, but it's either me or him at that point, right? This is Highway 105. I mean, this is a very deadly highway, so you just got to kind of do what you do. And now that there's snow on the ground, the road's nice and clear, but you got black ice and all that stuff, especially alongside the river. You just don't take any chances, you know what I mean? But just thank God it wasn't a moose, deer, or bear or something big, you know what I mean? So yeah, it's what it is. But yeah, so tonight should be a fun night. It's going to be very relaxed for me because I don't have to worry about an instrument. The only thing I got with me tonight is my GoPro and my camera, my other camera. So really, the good news is that big of fog there. I wonder where that came from. The good news is that I just used the house guitar tonight. The not so good news is I don't know what kind of. It's probably going to be a Taylor, so that's not so bad. But with a new host every week, you don't know what the jam night guitar is going to truly be. It could be a really horrible guitar. But the better news is that these songs are all really easy to play in the first position. So, there's no real picking or anything going crazy here that I need a really good action guitar with like phenomenal action. That said, if there's an electric guitar and drums out tonight, I won't, again, that's one thing I love about the jam night is sometimes it's just fun to, switch it up. It throws you off because you've been practicing XYZ songs, then all of a sudden, okay, well, I'm not doing those songs anymore, I'm going to do this instead. That's why I always recommend, play, pick maybe about 9 songs, so you got 3 possibilities of sets. So maybe 3 really hyper songs, rock and roll, whatever songs, to get the crowd going. 3 really, mellow songs, and 3 kind of in-between songs where they're not really hyper, but they're not, completely got to check them for the pulse because it's too mellow, you know what I mean? So yeah, you can do that too. For me, like I say, I probably know 1,000 songs all in, and because of that, it really, I never have a problem playing songs. It's just what song's perfect for the venue for the night, you know what I mean? That's where I run into my problems. Like, am I going to play this one or that one? Would this go better right now or that one? What should I do? What should I do? I got less than 3 minutes to decide because this guy's song is going to end in 3 minutes, and or thereabouts. So yeah, that's usually what happens. So I like to think when the the person before me goes up, I watch what they play and I say, okay, well, what would fit in really nice behind them? You know what I mean? Because you do sometimes like to have a complete contrast. But, there's the things I take into consideration, like, for example, if the bar's packed, it needs to get rowdy, period. If the bar's not that packed, then maybe you might not want to make it as rowdy. But if the crowd is rowdy, then keep it rowdy. You know what I mean? Keep the night on the up. But that throws it off for some people too, especially this jam. Like, I do find it's progressively getting more electric, which I'm okay with that. So that means, you're going to be able to jam with full bands. But I would say this is still more of an open mic than a jam night. But so far, you can technically say I did 3 jams with people. That's not bad. That's not too bad at all. I don't mind that. I wouldn't mind if I could get more jams, But the problem is when you jam, you forfeit your time for the jam unless you get pulled up by somebody else, right? Now, last week it was a little bit bizarre because it was very quiet last week. And again, the cold weather could keep people inside too. And guy has like one headlight, but man, that's a bright headlight. Put your gimbs on, man. Jeez. Some people's kids, I swear to God. They're making me all road rage and stuff. Alright, so anyway, what we're talking about here. Like last week, okay, the guy that went up ahead of me, I went up and I jammed with him because he didn't want to go by himself, and he was just going to do a jam on the bass or whatever. And he grabbed the guitar for a little bit too. And I said, okay, well, I'll put some stuff to it. So I was going to let him do his 3 songs, and then right after do my 3 songs, right? But because it was getting late, there was hardly anybody left in the audience. And we had already spent probably a set worth of tuning and setting up and all that. Probably 10 or 15 minutes right there. I didn't bother to say, oh, well, hey, I got to get my 15 minutes too, It's like, okay, no, I mean, I was up there, I had fun. You know what I mean? That's what next week's for. I go to these things to have fun. I mean, I do have to get a gig going soon, and yes, if my money can improve a bit, I'm going to hit other jam nights, but the problem is they're all in Ottawa. And the problem with that, quite simply put, is it's a lot more cost, fuel-wise, to go to Ottawa and back than it is to, Wakefield and back, right? And because of that, I really don't want to, I want to, but, I just can't. I have to stay within a fiscal. I mean, even this is a little bit too expensive for me to be doing every week. But it's just, I love doing it. I get good footage out of it, too. But, I mean, it's a great social, right? I don't really have anything else going on in my life at the moment other than constantly making videos and a little bit of work here and there. Barely enough to keep me going, and then of course the other thing I got going on is this, right? So I want to be out there doing this as much as possible, and I'm hoping for January, to start gigging. But the problem is too, this is a tough time of year to start gigging, but it's a great time of the year to work out, hey, if you're going to start gigging again, what songs do you want to bring out? This is where the jam nights are really, you get a lot from them. What works with the audience? You might play some songs, okay, I'm going to pull out this old song from the 80s. No one's going to like it, but I'm going to do it because I always wanted to do it. We'll get a laugh at it. Next thing you know, everybody's just freaking out over it. They just love it. Oh, okay, well, add that to the set. You know what I mean? Phil and I, the older guy there that does all the Beatles and stuff like that, like him and I were talking last week, if you could do maybe 1 or 2 gigs a month, and but do a complete different set each time, that would be awesome. You know what I mean? That would be completely, I would love that. That would be, to never have to play the same song twice live unless it was really good. Oh, that'd be awesome. That'd be just absolutely spectacular to always have something new, It keeps life very fresh when you do that. That's why I love the open jams and watching them after. It's like, I mean, years ago, like, you couldn't make videos like you can now. You know, like you can make videos, you might get like, you know, like you get like a 16 megabyte card or whatever on low resolution. You might get a, you know, a 3-minute song in there, but you weren't going to get an hour-long set. You know what I mean? Like that wasn't going to happen. Now you can pretty much film your entire show. You know what I mean? Like that's incredible. You know, but it gives you a lot of things out of it. For example, one of the things you get out of it is you find out what works live and what doesn't. Some of the stuff that you think is just going to be absolutely amazing live doesn't get any traction at all. And then you throw in another song and it's just like, holy jeez, why wasn't I playing that one for the past 20 years? I'd be rich by now, you know what I mean? I've often mentioned like these bands there that, you know, like they get really popular on one song and then they go and play live and it's just like, okay, we're going to play Big Noise for an hour and then we're going to give the people what they want. One song, you know what I mean? Maybe two at best. You know, one song wonder, 2-hit wonder, whatever it is. And these guys, they're still like trying to come up with new stuff. A lot of these bands from the 80s and 90s, like they're still writing new songs. Striper's still writing new songs. Honeymoon Suite's still writing new songs. All of these bands are still writing new songs, but nobody really cares about the new stuff. Why? It's not that it's a bygone era to the point where nobody likes it. It's just they no longer have the exclusivity of MTV. You know what I mean? They can no longer, you know, they're no longer in the, you know, in the promotional eyes of the establishment. So they don't get out there. They got to compete like everybody else. Doesn't mean their songs aren't good. Some of the songs are probably better than their old songs. But one thing that happens is that nobody, you know, like they don't get traction because they don't have the promotion that they used to have. You know, and some of these bands were just so big. You know what I mean? Now, like these guys are flipping burgers again. I was like, it's kind of funny. You know, it's kind of funny how that goes. Like, so you ride the wave as far as you can, and as a musician, like there's some people, and I used to, everybody that's been in a band, who's been a musician long enough, you'll have been in a band with somebody like this at one point. If we don't make it big by XYZ amount of time, that's it, I've given up. But that's not what music's about. You know what I mean? That's not what music's about. Music is about enjoying yourself. Music is about sharing creativity. You know, if you want to make it big, okay, go sell out, go to Hollywood, go sell out, but then you're competing with you're really just literally competing with faces. You know, because you don't even have to sing. Half these stars can't sing at all. You know, they just can't sing at all. They can't play, they can't sing, but they can get the job done. You know, like they can get it done well enough, and they look good while doing it, and they look good enough doing it that they're able to get noticed. I mean, for example, I was last week I was talking about how I think one of the Britney Spears songs was like 20 years old now. I can't believe that. But you think if she came up with that song today, she would get the same thing? No, they took her when she was a young, pretty face, right? And now, you know, there's going to be people who was Britney Spears, right? Like for me, I never really listened to that, but I'm just using that as an example, you know? Elvis Presley, I mean, there's people who don't know who Elvis Presley is. And think about how big Elvis Presley, the king of rock and roll. You know, Michael Jackson, the Prince of Pop, there's people that probably don't know who he is. You know, there's newer generations out there that they grew up on that. You know? We assume that everybody we grew up with, everybody knows. And I'll get this with the boomer crowd a lot too. Oh, you know this song? It was so big. How can you not know it? You know, but it's like, yeah, that was big in 1955. You know what I mean? It's gone. You know, it's a bygone era. And here's what it is. You know, here's what it is. It's not good. It's not bad. Just, you know, times change. You know, things move. People move on. Sounds move on. So the way I look at it, it's kind of like one of those things where, okay, well, it makes no sense to put an expiry date on your music or your music career or whatever, because, well, first off, it tells me you're not very serious about your music, even if you're playing other people's music, but you're not serious about it being a musician if that's all it takes you to quit. If I don't make it big, I'm going to quit. Like, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Like, especially when, music is so fun to play. I mean, think of the amount of time, any rock star, name any rock star. I can guarantee you the amount of time they spend on stage is only a fraction of what they spent on that instrument in their room with nobody else listening. I can guarantee you that. Anybody. I don't care if they're world-renowned guitar players, whatever. They spend more time playing without people listening to them than they did in front of audiences. And they spent that time, so when they got in front of audience, it'd all come together and it would be worth it, and it would just sound that much better, right? A huge stream of traffic behind me. I'm doing the speed limit. I heard nobody's got their winter tires on. I got my winter tires on. There's no snow on the road, but that could change very, very quickly now. Yeah. So tonight should be a fun night. I'm hoping there's a bigger crowd than last week. But sometimes that works out into your favor too, because sometimes it's like, well, Reg, stay up there and play. I mean, there was one night there was hardly anybody in. And it's like I got to play 8 songs or something like that. I don't know how many songs I played, but it worked out good. And yeah, it was a lot of fun. Here comes the boss. He's got to go flying by at 140. On a double lane right now, so you can everybody go down. That's fine. You guys race up ahead and crash into the river. See back here. Alright, go. Yeah, back to got like 5 cars that just have to go around. But I swear I am the only person in this province that does the speed limit. And maybe the guy behind me. Amazing he didn't pass. So, yeah, so tonight, I'm hoping there's going to be electric guitar there. Okay, well, he's going to pass. Now I got nobody behind me. That's okay. Again, it's like, I don't rush. I don't give a shit who's behind me. If I'm doing the speed limit, it's like, someday what I'm going to do, just for a joke, now mine is be highly illegal, I'm not saying you should do this, but this would be a funny prank, is I'm going to get a whole bunch of people behind me, and as soon as they all pass, I'm like a red siren in the dash. Man, that would mess with everybody's heads so badly. That's something that I would do, you know what I mean? Like that's something I would do. Why? Just because, it's like, you don't need to be going that fast. Speed limit's plenty fast in this kind of weather. Yeah, so anyway, I'm almost there. It's a cold night. I didn't want to bring out any instruments, just because the only guitar left to bring out right now is basically the Flying V. There's a classical guitar that my sister brought up for my nephew, but it plays so poorly, I don't think I could get away with playing it on stage. There'd be nothing I could do with it. I put the classical strings on it, but yeah, it's like, yeah, that's not gonna happen. But the cool thing is, I got to play my SGs live. So, but next year, when back in the spring, I'll start pulling those guitars out again. Who knows? Maybe that's what happened to my SG in the first place. Was that it was a gigging guitar. But I think what happened mainly was when I bought the guitar, there was 11 gauge strings on it. Pretty sure they were 11 gauge. I don't think they were 12, but they were probably 11s. Whoever had it didn't re-intonate before the 11s, which that's probably what caused the warp in the neck. But the neck's not twisted, so the good news about that is that it allows me to not have to worry about not being able to fully intonate the guitar. That SG-61 reissue does still play pretty darn good. I seen another one up for sale. Like I do want to get another one as soon as I can, because they don't make them anymore. But they pop up for sale from time to time, and when they do, they're pricey when they pop up for sale. Like people aren't giving them away, and nor should they. I mean, they're guitars that they do hold good resale value. That's one nice thing about them. Now mine might be slightly devalued because of the twist and the warp of the neck, but they're only going to keep going up in price until Gibson does another run of them. And they seem to do that. They do a run for a couple of years, or like a decade, and then they hide them away, and they come up with all these other things, and then they go back to them. I see them do this with the SG Standard all the time from the 90s, which is back again. But the newer versions also have the small pickguard too. And you get the best of both worlds. You get the look of the 61 reissue, but you get the heel joint of the Standard, which is, you know, like a brick shithouse. You know, that's a gigging guitar. Now, like my SG3 will make a good gigging guitar. You know what I mean? The other thing, and this is cool, is that if Gibson can figure out, okay, here's what people want out of an SG. You want an SG61 reissue, okay, with the heavier heel joint, the more solid heel joint of the SG Standard, and yeah, and in more color variations. You know, like that's you know, the big headstock, everything like that. It just looks so good, and that's what sets it apart from all the other guitars. And I can tell you, like, you can have an SG Standard, but if you are jonesing for an SG 61 reissue, it seems like no other guitar can kind of seem to fill that void. You know what I mean? Like, you could buy every other SG on the planet, but that's the one you want. I don't know, there's just something about the formula of that guitar is so nice. The Achilles heel is the heel joint. That's where, you know, those guitars tend to have a problem with them over time. You know, it's just, I mean, they're a very thin guitar, but there's ways to preserve those guitars too, by, you know, like lightening the tension off the strings when if you're not going to play it for a while. Just, you know, back off the tension on the strings. That way you're less likely to get the neck warp on it. But as a sound, the sound you get is such a great sounding guitar. It's just such a good guitar. I just like them. It's right. You know? I mean, there's a reason why it stood the test of time. Maybe not in its absolute original form as well, because I don't think you could make one out of you know, like the original SG61 reissue, or the original SG61 was made out of a solid piece of mahogany, which would warp on you as a solid piece of wood. But back then, I mean, yeah, guitars were expensive for their. I mean, that was like a $300 or $400 guitar in its time, brand new, and for 1961, that's a lot of money. That'd be like the $1,800 to $2,000 now, easy. So they were never cheap guitars, but they're a professional enough guitar that a working musician could pay these things off in a reasonable amount of time. You know, if you can get take gigs at $300 a night, you can do okay. You know, crap, yellow light. But this is Quebec. See, in Quebec, green means go, yellow means go faster, and red is just a suggestion. Right? But this car's turning. Oh well. Dang! I'll be sitting here forever and ever. This is not fair. This is an injustice sitting at a traffic light. I can't believe it. Okay. Mind you, this is the only traffic light like between Ottawa and my place. And I still bitch about it. Well, I mean, you know what I mean? Oh, wow. The ski hill's got the lights on. I wonder if they're already starting to make snow. Probably. I can imagine the ski hills will be making a lot of snow early this year because there's already... Yeah, they're probably making snow right now. It's cold enough. It's minus 15. Like, that's like perfect snow making. Yeah, they're making snow already on the ski hills. That's craziness. I'm going skiing this year, guys. I know I've been saying that for the last couple of years, but I'm going skiing this year. Yeah, they're making snow already on the ski hills. I guess they're going to take advantage of a long season. I don't think it's good. I think people are going to get skied out this year. Like, I mean, they're going to be like, oh, what do you want to do? Go skiing? I went skiing 15 times this week, you know. But yeah, I think it's going to be one of those, there must be something going on in the school here. Yeah, I don't know if I can play at the ski hill. I wonder if they have live bands there. I'm going to have to go. Mind you, this is like the smallest ski hill around. Verlage is like, if you're beginning skiing, it's like the place to learn, where you're probably not going to die. You're probably not going to die. It's good skiing. But yeah, I don't know if they've got I mean, they got a bar there for sure, but yeah, I don't know if I can play there. Maybe I'll see if they get live bands in there once in a while. That's going to be cool. Yeah, that would be very cool. So I'm almost there. Now, Wakefield was getting flooded out there past couple of weeks. So they ripped up the far end there and I had to go up and around, but they were done last week, so hopefully they didn't do any more road construction this week. So the good news is I don't have to go up and around and climb that big hill like I did last week. That big hill is like, it's so hard on my poor CRV. I mean, this thing's got like 440,676 is the mileage on this poor old thing. But yeah. Lights on the water, look really nice. Yeah, so tonight I'm looking forward to having fun. I hope it's back tonight. I like socializing, I like the people, I like the way the people are. I love performing, putting on a show. I like all that stuff. And I like to share it, you know what I mean? Big town of Wakefield. And, you know, like I said, tell you guys, you know, don't ever tell yourself you can't do something. Go out there and find out you can't do it. There's a lot of you, you know, like if you pick up an instrument or something like that, don't be afraid to go live. I mean, that kid last week that I was jamming with was such a pleasure to jam with. Oh. Well, they fixed the one part of it, but they didn't freaking fix the potholes. I can't believe that. Okay, they had this whole street dug back up, and they're so perfectionist. They put back the potholes. Okay, now that is definitely packing here tonight. I will steal this one. I think it's going to be a good night, guys. That is like really packed. And that is a big ass ditch there. If I go in there, I die. Well, so shut all that off. Make sure everything is shut off. So what's really cool is, or really strange, is that I don't have an instrument. I feel naked. I literally feel naked without an instrument. That's, people are gonna say, Reg, where's your guitar? I got my snow boots on too, so people might be laughing at me tonight, but I don't care. Hey, I performed with socks and sandals on this summer, so I'm not worried about wearing winter boots. I mean, the parking lot's layer ice, so, and right beside the river like that, it's gonna be cold, so hopefully. I'm not even going to say it. I'm not even going to say it. I'm not even going to say it. There's a pile of people out anyway, so. Alright, so hopefully there's lots going on tonight. You never know what you're going to get when it's a cold night. Either you're going to get, oh, there's Claire. She's got a guitar and a fur coat. Cool. But either you're going to get a night where it's going to be like, everybody's out because there's nothing better to do, and it is a weeknight, it is a Wednesday. And then, or you're going to get, nobody comes out, oh, it's too cold, I'm not going outside. You know what I mean? But again, it's like day 2 of winter and I've already got cabin fever, so no, I'm getting out. You know, if it's minus 40 or something like that, okay, I'll stay home, but I want to get as many jam nights in, so when I don't go for a week and I start going stir crazy because I haven't been on stage for a week, then it's going to be like, okay, well, at least I get my addiction done now, you know, because you get stages misseus, performius. So when you have that, then you're like, okay, well, no, I got to I got to get out there. I got to do this. I got to do it. All right, so anyway, guys, have yourselves a great night. I got to get in there. I'm going to go rock my face off. All right.